How frequently are you practicing?
Monday,
And what does the
Tuesday,
practice consist of? Is it just role play, or is there anything on top of that? Like, are you chanting? Are you writing stuff out?
role play.
Okay, how frequently? How often?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays at the 8 a.m. one
Yeah.
Pacific time.
And what I would say to you is like, good for you.
Hmm.
Like, I I, I want to acknowledge you for practicing because most people don't. And then at the same time, what I'm going to follow right behind is
Sure.
that enough?
It's not going to be enough yet. No, I know that. I'm
Right. So,
still.
like, if I want to ramp up the learning curve, it's like the law of humble arithmetic. So, I find it so interesting. I work with people, and I'm not suggesting you do this, but like, I talk to people all the time, and they'll say things to me like, well, I don't have any time. And I'm like, well, that's not true, bro. Like, what
Hmm.
I'm aware of is like, we spend hours scrolling, we spend hours watching Netflix videos, we spend hours doing other things. And we all have the same amount of time, right? Like
Hmm.
me and Jose don't have more time than anybody on this call. It's just how we allocate it in terms of a resource. So the question is to what degree are you committed to being able to deliver, let's say, the presentation clearly and concisely? And that's going to dictate the level of action I'm going to take,
Hmm.
and in this instance, the lead measure that leads to the lag measure is practicing,
Hmm.
right? So, like, it's good. Again, I'm not trying to like poo poo it. Like, great. I'm glad you're role playing like 4 days a week. I'm just aware, me personally, I never wanted, okay, so you know how you're like, I'm done? To
No, I mean, I
me,
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I get it. I know we're role playing and
Mhm.
practicing, but I'm just giving you like, what comes up for me is when you're like, oh, that's it, I'm done. I can't go. Like, to me, do you have anybody in your family that's like dependent on you?
No,
Nobody at all.
no.
Do you ever at some point wish to have dependence?
It comes to my mind.
Yeah. Okay. So,
No,
um, what I'm aware of is like, and even for yourself, like when you throw your hands up like that, to
no. I
me,
can I
I know.
explain real quick.
No, I
That
get
done.
it. You don't have to
The
explain.
done.
I understand where you're coming from. What I'm saying to you though is when you get to that, I'm just trying to give you like philosophy underneath. So if you get to that place where you're like, oh, that's it. To me, this is me speaking, Aaron.
Hmm.
That would be like me going to my son, throwing up my hands, and being like, oh, that's it. I can't send you that to that camp you want to go to because I haven't practiced enough. Or like me throwing my hands up to my mom when she had a brain bleed when she was 47 and be like, oh, that's it. I can't actually pay for a condo for you because you need my help right now, but I didn't take my skills seriously enough. Do you understand?
Yeah, I
So
do.
my intention is not to try to, again, like, it's not to try to like poo poo or anything. It's more so like from a kind of, uh, I don't know, like a philosophical kind of perspective or approach. This job, like, you just have to memorize like you just have to know a few conversations. That's it.
Absolutely.
It's really it. Like, if I came to you and I was like, yo, you're gonna be in this play that I'm doing, and you're like, okay, well, what's the role? I'm like, well, you're gonna be a salesperson that happens to sell real estate. You're like, great. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna travel all around the world. We're gonna do all these cool things. It's gonna be awesome. You're like, oh, that's fantastic. You're like, yep, you have 6 months to prepare. And here's a book of lines. It's a small book. It maybe has like 40 pages in it. And you're like, well, how much am I gonna make? I'm like, well, how much do you want to make? You're like, I don't know. I want to make $1 million. You're like, great, I'll pay you $1 million a year to do it. But you have to
Hmm.
nail the audition. How would you practice for that, bro?
Every day.
Would the practice be nonchalant?
No,
Would it be
it'd be
like,
it'd be
oh, well,
serious.
it would be wildly serious. Probably twice a day. It would be writing it out. It would be chanting it. It would be, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I
Hmm.
used to pull my wife, be like, hey, sit down. I need to practice something with you. Anybody, like, I would record myself speaking
Hmm.
and realize what a rum dum I was. I was, how I was getting in my own way or speaking over people or saying things like, I'm going to give you my recommendation.
Sure.
Nobody cares about your recommendation, bro. We have to help them to self-discover, like where they need to be at, right? So again, like, it's not just for you, it's for everybody on this call. Like, dude, we are in an environment, and the reason why I'm kind of being like, the story of one is the story of all. The reason why I'm being so direct here, dude, we're in an environment right now. There is zero leeway None. Like, before you could futz around and maybe, like, put in like part-time kind of work and make 80, 90 grand. That will not happen in this environment. You just will have to go get it. Like, people have to go do something else for income because there's just zero room for lack. There's zero room for, like, not knowing what to say. I was on a call with a team yesterday. Dude, they do like 80 million in volume, right? And the team gets on the call with me and they're like, hey, we have 22 listings and nothing's selling. I'm like, well, I know why. They're like, why? I'm like, because you've only sold real estate for 5 years and you've never dealt with a downward trending market. And now your inventory selling. So you don't know how to pre-qualify better. You don't know how to, you don't know how to present price better. You don't know how to get price reductions. You don't know how to present. I said, let me ask you a question. Are the offers that are coming in less than the asking price? They were like, yep. I'm like, you had to deal with that before? They're like, nope. I'm like, that's why. You actually thought you were good at this job and you're not. You see what I mean? So the reason I'm being so like direct about it is for everybody on this call or anybody who will listen to it, because we post these on my YouTube channel, is like, dude, we need to get really, really clear. Like, when we approach this, like, oh, like, ha ha ha, like fluffy, like, yeah. No, dude, this is serious business. I don't ever want anybody on this call to be like, oh, that's it. No, dude.
No, can I say something real quick, Aaron?
Yeah.
Just to my defense, I meant like I'm done. Like that I was after that last sentence of fair enough. I'm done with the script.
Yeah, I get that.
Then, okay,
I understand.
Okay. Not like I'm done. Like I'm done with like.
I know it's not like you're done and giving up. My point being is like I don't ever want anybody on this call in any selling situation to be like, that's it. I haven't got there yet. Because bro, listen to me. These conversations are $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, bro. And we're like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm watching the draft tomorrow. I'm like, okay, do you, bro? I don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not speaking directly to you because I'm not saying you're doing this. It's more like in general, right? And I want to address everybody's approach to this. Like, you could either be amateur or be a pro. You know the difference between amateur and a pro? Amateurs have to pay to play. Pros get paid to play. And you just have to make that decision. But this environment's going to require everybody on this call to go pro. And if you don't go pro, then you're just going to make less money. Like, you ready? I just made this up. If you don't go pro, you ain't going to make no dough.
I was thinking the opposite of that line. Go pro to make dough.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, I think it's the same thing. For me, that example that you gave of an actor and how much do you want to make a year, that was life-changing for me, because that changed the way that I looked at this business. And I'm like, man, it changed my perspective. It was like, man, I'm actually really lucky. If I was an actor and I wanted to make $1 million or $2 million or whatever I wanted to make, I would have to go memorize like hundreds of scripts throughout my career. And I looked at it like Denzel Washington. Like, how many scripts does that guy have to memorize? Not only that, but like, how good is he at presenting every single one of them? And when I looked at that, I'm like, okay, so like, my job is to be a real estate agent, and this is my script. And the good thing is that there's only a few conversations that I have to learn, and if I master them, then I have the ability to call my price as to how much I want to make. So I basically decided to go pro, and then it was followed by the dough. Yeah, so I agree with it. I think that I always ask people like, okay, how much are you practicing as well too? And it's like, it's that other example, and people, I'm sure they've heard it. It's like, okay, if you're practicing 4 days a week, half an hour, that is 2 hours a week, that is 8 hours a month. That is 96 hours in a year. That is like 400 hours and 500 hours in 5 years. Now, let's say instead I'm practicing an hour and a half a day, role play twice, and chanting. Now, in a week, it's like 10 hours in a week, 40 hours in a month, 40 hours in a month, 400, trying to do some math now, 40 hours. Yeah, it's like 480 hours in a year. So in a year, I'm practicing in 1 year almost what somebody would practice in 5 years. So you compound that over 3 years, and it's like a huge difference. This person's over here practicing 3 times the amount basically in 3 years. So, I mean, it's pretty common sense. It's like, who's going to get better over that period of time?
That's right. And then I heard this guy, he was speaking, which I thought was really cool. He's like an professional baseball player. And he's like, look, he has all boys. He's like, look, I tell my boys, like, I don't care what you do, man. Like, do whatever you want to do, whether it's like play an instrument or play sports. But he's like, I need you to understand something. If we play sports, we're going to play to win. You know what I mean? I don't care if you do it or not, but if you do decide you're going to do it, we're going to play to win. So ask yourself a question, bro. Did you get into real estate just to, like, I don't know, get by? Or are you playing to win?
Play to win, play to get better.
Okay, here's the deal. Is my behind the scenes when nobody's looking, practice, consistency, discipline, is it reflective of what I'm saying with words that I'm playing to win? Like if I was to watch, would I be like, you're playing to win or are you just playing to survive? And that's an open-ended question to everybody. If I was to watch you, not like listen to what you're saying, but if I was to watch you, and that's an impersonal you, that's everybody on this call, and you couldn't tell me that if you know, where you're going to play to win or you're playing just to survive sort of thing, what would I conclude based on watching you? Based on your frequency and consistency in prospecting, based on your frequency, consistency, and intensity of practice, based on books that you're reading about psychology, books about sales, books about economics and market conditions. Like, you know what I mean? You don't get more because you want more. You get more because you become more. We just don't like the becoming part. We focus on the having part.